Hi, Internet! Good morning, my good and most wonderful hobbits. Today, a little more from Keep Going by Austin Kleon. This bit is about measuring time in natural chunks rather than in the clock and the calendar, which can feel either constraining or suffocating or demanding in a way that's really not conducive to creating. And I love this bit. After being a nun in Los Angeles for 30 years, Corita Kent moved across the country to Boston so she could live quietly and make art. Her apartment had a big bay window and a maple tree out front, and she liked to sit there and observe the tree changing throughout the seasons. That tree was the great teacher of the last 2 decades of her life, her former student Mickey Myers said. She learned from that tree. The beauty it produced in spring was only because of what it went through during the winter, and sometimes the harshest winters yielded the most glorious springs. That, in a way, is very much how I feel about my life, she said. Whether it will ever be recognizable by anyone else, I don't know. But I feel that great new things are happening very quietly inside me. And I know these things have a way, like the maple tree, of finally bursting out in some form. So then he has a section here that's really fun. He crosses out seconds and puts in heartbeats. X's out days, puts in sunrises. X's out weeks and months and puts in moon phases. X's out quarters and puts in seasons. X's out years and puts in the return of spring. Yes. Draw the same tree every week for a year. Take up casual astronomy. Watch the sun rise and set for a week. Observe the moon every night for a few cycles. Try to get a feel for non-mechanical time and see if it recalibrates you and changes how you feel about your progress. Also, it's way less terrifying than a deadline. And then he finishes up with a bit that he also started earlier in the book, that he loves to read obituaries. And initially I was like, okay, a little morbid and not very interesting. But then he says this, and I love this. I don't want to know how a 30-year-old became rich and famous. I want to hear how an 88-year-old spent her life in obscurity, kept making art, and lived a happy life. I want to know how Bill Cunningham jumped on his bicycle every day and rode around New York taking photos in his 80s. I want to know how Joan Rivers was able to tell jokes until the very end. I want to know how, in his 90s, Pablo Casals still got up every morning and practiced his cello. Wow. No, he's totally right. That's way, way, way more interesting than, oh my God, I'm 30. Have I done anything with my life? Oh my God, I'm 50. I can't start a novel. Oh my God, I'm 60. I shouldn't learn to paint, even though that is kind of a stereotype. Figuring out that you don't have to be stuck with someone else's way of measuring time, whether it's having things that have a due date, or feeling pressured by the calendar, or feeling pressured by the seasons of your life to have accomplished something. Must accomplish. God, we're so stuck on making progress in this culture, and it is not conducive to a happy life, let alone a gloriously creative one. So there you go, more wisdom from Austin Kleon. And next time I'll probably start with Steal Like an Artist, which, though it's the first book in this series and I read it first, I had already finished it when I started recording this series. So everyone have a wonderful and creative week, and wear your N95 masks and be good to each other.